So now let's talk about the process, how we go about using the microscope and focusing the microscope and so forth. The first thing is to always make sure that we have the stage as low as it can go. We use the coarse adjustment knob to move the stage all the way down. Okay? And you don't have to crank and crank and crank on it. You know, when it stops, it's done. Okay? So we move the stage all the way down. Okay? We're going to put the microscope on low power, which is the red band, okay, objective. And that objective should be pointing directly straight down over this hole that's in the stage. Okay? Then we want to make sure that our light source is on. Okay? You would not believe how many times I get the comment, "Mr. Wilhelm, I can't see anything." And I say, "Well, is your light on?" "Oh, no." Turn the light on. You cannot see anything unless the light is on. It's a compound light microscope. You have to have a light in order for this microscope to work. Okay? So make sure your light's on. The next thing is make sure your diaphragm is on a medium number. I usually like to start on 2 or 3. Okay? And it has a number over here to the side, okay, that tells you what the number is, whether it is 2 or 3 or 4. So we'll start right here on 3. Okay? Again, make sure you're not between holes in the diaphragm either, because if you're between holes in the diaphragm, it won't allow light to shine through the stage. Also, something I left out is whenever we're making sure that the objective is in place, make sure it clicks into place. Okay, there makes a little click noise. There's a definite locking sensation to it. Make sure it's locked into place. If you're not locked into place, if you're halfway between the medium and the low power objective, again, light cannot shine through. You're not going to be able to see anything. Okay, so stage is all the way down. We're on 3 on the diaphragm. Our light is on. Then we take our prepared slide and we're going to put it on the stage, and we're going to get that specimen, that piece of frog skin, right over the top of that hole, and then we'll use our stage clips to lock it in place. Okay, now all we need to do is simply look through the eyepiece, okay? And as I'm looking through the eyepiece, I'm going to use the coarse adjustment knob, okay? The coarse adjustment knob to roll the stage upwards very slowly until I can start to see something. And you keep rolling it, moving it until you see something. And there I go. I see that piece of frog skin. Once you kind of get it into a rough focus, then you go on to the fine adjustment knob, the little knob, and you're going to continue to move the fine adjustment knob back and forth until you can find a sharp, sharp image. And sometimes you have to experiment with this. Sometimes you have to go too far one way and then too far the other way to really figure out what is focused. Okay? So now I'm focused on low power, but I want to look at it closer. So I look from the side and I simply take the medium objective and I lock the medium objective into place. The reason I'm looking from the side is I don't want to ram that objective into the stage, which could possibly cause damage to the objective. Here I've got plenty of room, so I'm going to lock that medium power objective, that's the one with the yellow band, in place. And then I'm going to look through the eyepiece. Now, if I've done my job correctly, I should not need to touch the coarse adjustment knob again. I should be done with the coarse adjustment knob. I should be able to simply just use my fine adjustment knob to do a little bit of focusing, and I see my image much larger, much clearer through the eyepiece. Lastly, I want to look at it on high power. So again, I look from the side, I switch over to high power, being careful not to slam that objective into the stage. And again, I'm going to use only my fine adjustment knob and focus it nice and sharp. And right now, my image looks a little dark. I think it's a little too dark. I think I'm going to adjust my diaphragm to a level 4 so that there's a little bit more light shining through, so it gives me a better picture. Okay. Now, you need to understand that not everything needs to be seen on high power. Sometimes simply looking through medium power is more than enough. Sometimes you can be too close and you're going to miss the big picture. So just keep in mind, you don't always have to go to high power. Sometimes medium power is enough and sometimes low power is enough. Okay? It just really depends upon what you're looking at. Now, I'm done. I'm done with this particular slide, so I'm ready to pack up. Okay? Very simple process. Take the stage and move it all the way downward as far as it goes. Okay? Once you move the stage downward, okay, you take the low power objective and you lock the low power objective in place. We always store the microscope on low power with the stage all the way down. I can remove my prepared glass slide and go put it away. Don't want to drop that, it'll break. Okay? And then obviously turn your light source off. When you unplug, you always grab from the plug, and then there's a nice little place on the back of the microscope where you can wrap the cord around in order to store it. Okay? Most of the times you guys will not have to store it because I'll need it for my other classes and so forth, but if you're the last class of the day or whatever, I may have you store the microscopes for me. Anytime I'm carrying a microscope from one location to another, I put one hand on the arm and one hand underneath the base. These microscopes are fairly expensive. Okay? They're over $100 a piece, if not more, so we want to be careful and not drop them and break them. Okay? And we want to take care of what we have. So one hand on the arm, one hand underneath the base. Very good. Okay, so I hope you've learned everything that you need to know about using the microscope.